What is up, Wade Trade Brigade? Today we're going to learn all about the PE ratio, what it is, how it works, how it's used to evaluate a stock, and stick around to the end and I'll share with you a secret about how to become an expert using the PE ratio. So first of all, what exactly is a PE ratio? A PE ratio is a ratio that's used to value the stock price of a company by taking the stock price and comparing it to the earnings per share. Oh, and hey, by the way guys, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Honestly, my really only goal here is to share my passion with other people and learn and grow together at the same time. Alright, so there's a couple of things that we actually need to talk about before we get into it. The first thing is, if you're not familiar, what is the stock price? That's relatively easy, probably the easiest thing on this video today. But we're going to start it out simple and just let you know the stock price is just that. Okay, so if you take one share of Apple and it costs $144, well, that's the stock price. That is the price, okay? Okay, so the second thing that we need to go over is earnings, okay? When you talk about the PE ratio, you have the P and the E, right? Well, the price, we went over that, but number two is the earnings. The earnings, in my opinion, they should call it the price to earnings per share ratio. Because that's really what you're comparing. So you want to talk about earnings, you talk about EPS, earnings per share. All right? And that is just, it really is very simple. All it is the amount of money that the company earns per share of the company. So here in just a moment, we're going to hop into some examples of how to use the PE ratio and really get into my stock evaluating secret, okay? But first, I really wanted to let you know that if I'm using a lot of terminology already that you don't know, it's okay. Because I've got a quote by Peter Lynch that really helped me whenever I started learning. Peter Lynch said that average investors can actually become experts in their own field, and they can pick winning stocks as good, if not better, than Wall Street professionals just by doing a little bit of research. And the reason I say this is that if you feel overwhelmed already, don't. You're going to get better day by day. Do a little bit of research every day, and soon before you know it, you will be well versed and an expert on knowing how to invest your money and how to pick stocks. Alright, so before we move on, I'm going to introduce to you two different types of PE ratios. Bet you didn't know there was two, right? So the first one is going to be the TTM PE ratio. All that stands for is trailing 12-month PE ratio. Number two is going to be the forward PE ratio. Forward PE ratio is exactly what it sounds like. It's into the future, it's forward looking, right? The trailing 12-month PE ratio is looking into the past 12 months, right? Trailing 12 month. The trailing 12-month PE is actually pretty self-explanatory. It's taking the current stock price and dividing it by the past 4 quarters of earnings per share, EPS. But hey, Ethan, how do you get the past 4 quarters EPS? Oh, thanks for asking, Murphy. No, but seriously, all jokes aside, you take the past 4 quarters EPS and add them up to get one number and then plug that in to the equation. All right, so if that didn't make any sense, hopefully this will make more sense, okay? We're gonna go through a quick example of this, guys. So I brought out a notepad here. It's the best I got. Hopefully I'll be able to invest one day into a whiteboard. It might make it a little bit better. Or, you never know, I could get a lot better at making videos and do some kind of cool graphics for you. But for now, the notepad's gonna have to work. So, here in this example, we have a stock price of $15. Then, that is the P of the PE ratio, right? Price to earnings. P would be 15. And then you add up the quarters of earnings per share. So quarter 1, 25 cents, quarter 2, 25 cents, quarter 3, 25 cents, quarter 4, 25 cents. Add all of those up and you get $1. Okay, so the EPS is $1. All right, so the price to earnings is 15, remember, because the stock price is 15 and the earnings is 1. The $1, 15 divided by 1 is 15. So this stock has a PE ratio of 15. Hey guys, one tiny request. These videos take a lot of work to make. And not only that, it takes years to become knowledgeable and comfortable with investing in the stock market. So if you guys feel like you've already gotten some value, I'll make you a deal. I'm going to continue to bring you lots of value and information in these videos if you could just do one tiny little thing in return. Invest in that like button, hit it now, subscribe, and press the bell notification to turn on all notifications so anytime I make a new video, you guys know exactly when it comes out, okay? So that'll be our little deal. I'll keep bringing you great stuff and you just invest in that like button. So now that we've covered the trailing 12-month PE ratio, now we're gonna go into the forward PE ratio, okay? And the forward PE ratio is pretty much self-explanatory and it's almost exactly the same thing, okay? You find it the same way. You take the price of the stock and divide it by the quarterly earnings for the forward year, okay? So the past 12 months was our last example and we had 25 cents per quarter of earnings. Well, now we're going to try to find the future PE ratio, okay? Forward PE. That forward PE is going to look about like this, all right? So the forward PE, let's say the stock price is the same price as it was when we were trying to find the trailing 12-month PE. Q1, we expect them to make 50 cents per quarter for 4 quarters, all right? Add that up, you get $2. And then you come down here, so the price was $15 divided by 2, which is the earnings. That is a 7.5 forward PE. Now, let me explain how that works. When you're dealing with a forward PE ratio, it's into the future. These are not solid numbers because it hasn't happened yet. These companies have not reported their earnings, so there's no, really, it could go to 0. You never know. It could go to 1 million. You just don't know, right? So, in saying that, all you can do is learn how to project revenues of a company so that then you can use those quarterly earnings to plug into the ratio. Now, again, guys, this goes with a little bit more experience investing. So for now, all I recommend is go to yahoo.com and you can literally look up what most analysts think that the company is going to earn over the next 4 quarters. So, my little secret for my stock evaluating. Now, this is kind of the relationship that I like to do. I like to find what the trailing 12-month PE ratio is, and then I try to run projections on the company's revenue to figure out what they're going to earn over the next 4 quarters and find the PE ratio. That is why I introduced you to both of these metrics so that you can use them looking in the past and in the future. Now, a lot of people get caught up on the trailing 12-month PE ratio. However, I believe whenever you are looking at a company that is growing continuously, you need to be looking at what is coming. You don't care about the past. Of course, you need to care about the past to some extent. But in reality, you're investing for the future, right? So the future, the forward PE ratio is going to be a lot better if you can get accurate numbers that are realistic for the quarterly earnings. And also, guys, I have one more secret for you. You should continue watching my videos. Check out my page, subscribe, and go through all the videos so that you can learn even more. And I'm going to continue to release more and more videos just like this one. Thank you guys so much for your support and being here with me today learning about the PE ratio. But for now, like and subscribe to my channel, and I've got to go invest in some stocks.